Hello everyone and welcome to a pretty hype video as Eugen just announced a new roadmap for WARNO, and for the multiplayer community I think this is pretty hype. For the rest of this community, the single player community especially, this one is interesting, but they will have to wait a bit longer. But Eugen announced quite a lot of fresh stuff to come. WARNO for sure isn't done yet. They seem to have a lot of plans still for the game over the upcoming years. And we have 4 different DLC packages that will come to the game announced with this. One we already know, and that is the Nemesis 4 Capital Defense, which is also in testing with the Strike Team already, so release should be relatively close by. As per usual of Eugen, they don't want to announce release dates because they don't know if they can keep it. And we have Harriers here, we have the TADUD, we already got the information of what's going to be in there. The upgraded MiG-29 here, for example, as well. And that is pretty dope. But then we have Nemesis 5 here with Spanish M48, M48, and a Czech T55 AM2 on the left side here. So this is going to be interesting. Some QEs here in the background, some Su-17s or Su-22s or so. Some Su bombers at least here in the rear as well. So this is going to be in the next Nemesis decided by Eugen. The Nemesis 6 we're gonna be able to vote upon. Nemesis 5 is by them. And gonna have Spanish and Czechoslovak forces in there. As we can see here, we don't have any further information yet which kind of them we're gonna get, but it's going to be interesting. This seems to be maybe some hinting on some special forces, and yeah, this is also interesting to see a full-on T55AM2 division. That would be quite dope. Then we have the Landjut division expansion, which is going to be the divisions only. Same goes for the one after. So 2 big division-only ones with 8 new divisions, 1 new nation with Landjut that very, very likely is going to be Denmark. Everything else would be a weird, odd thing. But the more hype thing than Denmark, maybe even here, which already is pretty cool, they have some cool stuff, is that we have an anchor here. We have a carrier hinted here in the background. And we have a T-55 Drosht, the Navy version, a T-55M with Drosht anti-missile defense systems here on the side of the turret. Now it makes sense why Eugen gave that to modders, the missile interception tool that has been used in the modern day mods and a couple of other mods already as well for interception systems like the Drosht to intercept ATGMs coming in. So that's going to be interesting. And we see an F-14 here. So we very, very likely, together with this here, gonna get the Marine Corps in full force with that one. So that is pretty cool as well. And the Danish forces will be interesting too. And yeah, here we have also the model of the F-14 of the Americans. So Soviet Marines and the US Marines coming in. Other guesses would be Polish Marine forces coming along. On the German side, maybe with one of the northern divisions that we already had in the Nemesis votes. Maybe combined with some more Danish forces or so. That could be interesting. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what else on Pact side of thing. That's going to be interesting. And then we have Blackbirds. And this is a really interesting one. Because here, Eugen talks about 5 new nations. This is going to be a big pack as well. About nations that would be otherwise reluctantly in it or outside of NATO or Warsaw Pact, or reluctantly in it. So that would be talking about nations like Austria, like Switzerland, which kind of is hinted here. Albania, being a bit outside of Warsaw Pact, could be interesting as well. It makes sense that this is not a full army general one, with the bigger areas like Scandinavia or Italy or the Greece, Bulgarian frontline maybe being kept for army generals, which we'll come to in the last part. And yeah, 5 new nations, 8 new divisions. Austrians and Swiss are pretty likely. Some have identified Hungarians here, I believe. So that would be Warsaw Pact, but maybe that's where the reluctant part comes in. The last nation isn't really shown. There are a couple of guesses. My guess would be Portugal, as they don't really fit in any other scenario, but they are a NATO ally at this point. But also maybe a more reluctant one when it comes to using their army forces, obviously helping out in the Atlantic, mostly. And yeah, no real other way to get them in. Other options could be maybe Romania, maybe Yugoslavia, but both of that, I think, will be kept for bigger ones, so not quite sure what the fifth nation is going to be. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to bring around here. Maybe we get the Swiss Guard of the Vatican. That would at least be a neutral nation. But yeah, that's 5 new nations, 8 new divisions. This sounds really promising. This sounds like another step of making WARNO super unique and a game like no other, representing nations that usually you don't see in video games represented. And that's really, I think, where Eugen shines. And then we come about the Army General stuff. So the reason why all of this here doesn't have Army General is that Eugen says Army Generals take a lot of time and they want to go away from Germany. We have future Army Generals. That also needs new terrain, new maps, and they also want to tinker on Army General in general. So they need more time for that, and they can pump out divisions quicker than they can pump out Army Generals. We saw that with Southec, long delayed because of the Army Generals. They don't want to have such delays for future divisions just because we have to wait for Army General. So they're gonna give us divisions whilst they work on Army General on the background. And it's going to be interesting to see what we're gonna get there and where we're gonna go. Maybe we're gonna go North Scandinavia. Maybe we get some snow maps. Mediterranean, I think that's the two most likely, though we see a full-on globe here. So maybe we already start shifting east. Like, that also, for sales numbers, I think, being like, okay, yep, conflict goes hot all over the globe, let's go to Korea again. Let's bring Warhammer Dragon fans back into the grid. Also sell the game in China would make a lot of sense. And Korea and Japan, like all of that would make sense as well. I would like to see other nations like Singapore or so in it as well. So at this time period, Singaporean army not quite as interesting and modernized as it is nowadays, but still an interesting one nonetheless. And yeah, other nations that you would never see in a game like this. So I'm up for anything here. I'm interested to see what they do with the Army General concept. I hope we will eventually also get modding for Army General. There is already a bit of modding capabilities with the map, but you can't really bake it and make it available to play. So if they can improve that, that would be the big thing. If we can then also get Warhammer campaigns and modern day campaigns and all of that stuff. Star Wars campaigns. So yeah, this is going to be interesting, and I'm really excited for all of this. The Blackbirds I'm super excited for. I think both of these look decent. They are nothing super special, but I'm always looking forward to new divisions, and the loadout of the Capital Defense looks pretty cool. This one looks quite interesting as well, finishing off the Spanish. And then Landjut, super hot. I think US Marine Corps will go really down well with the community. And as I said, Blackbirds is super excited in my eyes. I think this is what WARNO is all about. So let me know down below what you think about it, and see you all in the next one.